Welcome to episode 17 of the Target Acquired podcast. Before we start, we want to reach out one more time to Osen Gaffney 634. You were the winner of our Sunspot and Warlock box giveaway. Please reach out to us either through our email, which is linked in our YouTube profile, or leave us a message in Discord, or even a note on this podcast to let us know that you are still interested in receiving that. We are almost at 200 subscribers now, so we're going to have to be doing another giveaway. So let's get this one out the door before we have the next one. Let me introduce our guest today.
This is Swooper.
This is Jeremy, aka Jerbear.
And this is Crossroads.
And of course, I'm Sean, aka Reynolds Rap, who totally forgot to introduce himself earlier. Anyways, we got some new releases out. We had some character card updates, and of course, we had the Brotherhood reveals. John, do you want to take us over the Brotherhood characters?
Yes, I am super excited for these Brotherhood characters. I've been waiting for these guys since last Adepticon. I was hoping they were going to make it out this Adepticon. I just looked at the release date, and they are pushed back all the way to August 31st. So hopefully we'll get them in time for Nova. So let's go down the characters. We have Avalanche first. He's a 3-threat, 4/3/3 for defenses, 6 health on one side, 5 on the other side, size 2, medium move. He's pretty basic. He's got very little, he doesn't have a lot of text on his card compared to most people these days where the whole card's filled out. Half the card's not even filled out. He's got, for his gainer, Seismokinesis, a beam 3/4 dice on a wild, has a stun. And for his spender, he has Epicenter of Destruction. Area 2, 5 dice for 3 power, and each attack that is resolved, the character automatically gains stun. So he's handing out a bunch of conditions. Stun conditions definitely a really good one to hand out. For his superpowers, he has Landslide. Choose an enemy character of size 4 or less within 3, and you can push the chosen character away short. That only costs 2. That's pretty good, man. You pushing pushing a size 4 for 2 costs. That's pretty good. He has a reactive superpower, Beware Falling Debris. When an enemy character ends an advance within 3 of this character means the superpower. Choose an interactive terrain size 3 or less within 2 of the enemy that was advanced. Destroy the terrain feature. The character suffers a collision as if the terrain feature had collided with it. He doesn't stand out, but I also don't think he's bad.
No, I think he's solid. I mean, it's a 3 cost, right? So they're not supposed to do a crazy amount of things, but what he does is good for him and also synergizes well with Brotherhood.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious if he gets thrown into Apocalypse as well, because he'd make an interesting Pestilence.
There's when we get to get through the characters, that would be the big thing, is which one of these characters is going into Apocalypse? Because we all know they're Brotherhood, and hooray, they're in Brotherhood. But 2 of these characters in Apocalypse could be really nasty.
Now, does Apocalypse require them to be a part of the list, right, to choose them as a horseman?
Yes.
So you think there'll be an update then? As soon as these guys are released, there'll be an update to Apocalypse list?
It'll be just like any affiliation update. So any affiliation update, whenever a new mutant comes out, if they're going to put him in Apocalypse or not. Because Pyro's not in Apocalypse, but Blob is. So it's just a matter of whether or not they decide, because there is no real rule to who's going in Apocalypse, because a lot of Apocalypse's affiliation characters were never horsemen.
Okay, so it's not comic book accurate to how things work.
No, not
way off. Woo off. But
Gotcha.
there are a bunch of characters that are not horsemen that are still mutants. And I don't really know what the reasoning is for who made it and who didn't make it. I guess it was just a lot of play testing, and they were like, this character's too good, or, whatever. I don't really know how they decided.
I'm assuming they had to at least get enough options out there, and for them to, they all had to be mutants, correct? It wasn't there's no one on the list that's outside of mutants.
That was one of the requirements, is all of them are mutants, but
none of them are
all mutants are Apocalypse.
None of the horsemen, though, are what you categorize as a white knight, right? Meaning that anyone that is always been absolutely a good guy and never had any conflict doesn't seem to be a horseman. Scott is not a horseman.
Well, I will argue with you there that Scott is a bad guy.
Well, I mean, it
Sometimes.
depends on which side of the romance you want to be on. I mean, obviously,
Well,
I'm
it's
Team
not
Logan,
even
but
romance. Like there's sometimes like with the X-Men and I think it was like the Inhumans thing, like Scott does some pretty shitty stuff.
But as far as like with the affiliations go, there's no one that hasn't been like a brotherhoodish character that's with Apocalypse, right? There's no like goody two shoes people.
I don't understand what we're asking.
I think he's saying that there's no absolute good guys in the Apocalypse affiliation, which I think Colossus, of course, as portrayed in the MCU, is the absolute good guy, but he is not in the
Colossus was
comics.
a member of the Brotherhood.
Yeah,
I
and
know,
he's
that's
on
what I'm
the
saying.
Brotherhood
Not in the comics,
affiliation.
he isn't.
I
That
mean,
was like one time he was kind of a bad guy. It's funny because like Exodus at the time, Exodus leads the Acolytes, and that was when Colossus was part of the Brotherhood. That's why I thought he was going to get a leadership really bad. Like I had to put so much money down.
yeah,
But on to our second character, we have Exodus. We previously went over Exodus because his reveal happened way back at Adepticon. Both of his sides are exactly the same. He is very, very close to Cable. Like super close to Cable. He has the terrain throw of Cable, the body slide of Cable, the telekinetic shield of Cable. He gains an extra power like Cable. He's immune to poison like Cable. His builder and
But he
spender
heals.
are different. Cable doesn't heal.
No, I'm saying Exodus, that's his main differences. He
Yeah.
heals. And no
But
gun.
I think he's
his range is a
tougher.
lot worse.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously he doesn't have his gun like Cable has his gun and whatnot, but I think he is a little beefier because he does have better defenses than Cable does to allow him to like get up there. He has the healing factor. He can potentially heal himself 3 health a turn. Oh, that's pretty good. I don't know, and I don't think he's going to be too power hungry because I don't know if you use his spender that much.
I don't see it coming up often.
Where you could just throw terrain or teleport or telekinetic shield people. I feel like those are going to be things you're going to use more often. His builder is a 6 dice builder that's mystic. And granted, it's within 2, but 6 die is pretty good.
And with the sap power on it, like he's definitely not hurting for power.
No,
at all.
And then for his second gainer he has, it pulls you. So like even if you're not within 2 and you didn't want to make that move, if you're within 4, you could pull them short, and that should put them within 2. I'd have to measure that out.
Yeah,
at
I have
least
to
put-
measure out for a small base character,
Yeah.
but
Well, a
definitely on
short
medium
is-
or higher it does.
Yeah, a short is bigger than a range 2. It's just a matter of how different is the range 2 to like the 4.
But it also will help if down the road we're going to talk about tactics cards and stuff. But having some short movement Brotherhood characters, being able to pull them towards like Magneto, so Magneto might not have to use movement and get 2 attacks in, or he might only have to move once to be in range to do something.
Right. Well, that's what I think Asteroid M has always been for, was basically that answer to like Magneto's fucking slow. So we've gone over him before. I think he looks decent. I think he's going to struggle because if you're going to take Magneto and you're going to take Exodus, you're at 11 points. So
Are you
Juggernaut is
taking-
also
yeah.
5 points.
So what you're saying is you got a great 16 right there.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a good 16.
Three,
No, it
three
doesn't.
character,
I was
three
being very
character,
sarcastic.
three
Yeah.
character 16 would be rough.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like Juggernaut's just so good.
I mean, it could be a good 18 if you're taking Toad along with them. That's 4 characters at 18.
That still sounds duty to me.
There's a lot of affiliations that rock 4 characters at 18.
Yeah, but not these 4 characters. When you're running Immortal Hulk, Jeremy, and a bunch of other characters, or like Steve 1 to make everything 1 less power, yes, those are good.
I don't know.
Yeah, I do
we'll have
find
to-
that he's an unfortunate threat level for the affiliation.
Right. And I
But-
think he's extra unfortunate just because when we get to the character updates, I was really hoping Magneto was going to get that update, and that didn't happen. So I think it's hard to justify spending 11 points on these 2 together.
Which just means that you're taking him with Mystique.
Yeah, and then but at the same time, so let's say we take him with Mystique. Are you still taking Juggernaut? And then so let's say you take Juggernaut, him, and Mystique, you're at 13 points. I don't know. I think he's a lot. I think he has a lot to like contend with, and not to mention like splashes that you want to put in that are really good with, Magneto or with Mystique. So I think he's going to be one you definitely have to get on the table and figure out where he really belongs. I don't see you splashing him anywhere. I guess you could always splash in Steve 1, but
Yeah, I guess my final take on Exodus, it really is, you have to want to take him to put him into your roster. He does not just scream, he goes in.
you take Steve 1, Cable, because they're both Avengers, Exodus. So you have 2 telekinetic shields that are going off on 1.
And 2 body slides turn 1.
And 2 body slides. Well, yeah, 2 body slides turn 1 because they would drop down to 2. Telekinetic shields would go off on 1 twice, and then you would just need to put in 1 more character for Avengers. And if you could fit Shadowcat in there, you'd get a whole nother 2 dice.
And then you just die to throws.
That's true. And the last character, this is definitely the most interesting character, I think. She's definitely a different design. Lady Mastermind. The only difference on her backside is she drops from 6 stamina to 5 stamina. She is a 3/3/4. 4 cost, size 2, medium movement. And she's got a lot going on. So for her, she has a gainer, deadly illusions, range 5, 5 dice. If this attack deals 1 or more damage, it deals 1 damage instead. So it's like the Shuri attack. It has mind over matter. Before damage is dealt, this character may remove 2 special conditions from the target character. If it does, the defending character suffers 2 damage. Then on a wild, after the attack is resolved, for each wild in the attack roll, the character gains 1 of the following special conditions: bleed, poison, shock, or incinerate. So she takes away special conditions and just rehands them back out. I think that's a pretty cool new ability. And you just take the 2 damage. There is no blocking that damage. So your defense roll does nothing. It's just straight 2 off of her gainer, if you can get the conditions on, which seem like I think you can. For her spender, she has mass hallucinations, an area 2, 6 die, costs 4. On a wild, you get Puppeteer. After each attack is resolved, this character may advance the target character short. For superpowers, she has Your Reality is Whatever I Want It to Be. This character may spend any amount of power to use this superpower. Choose an enemy character within 5 of this character with a mystic defense equal to or less than the amount of power spent to use this superpower. Then this character may make an attack targeting a different enemy character with the range and what is that technically called? Is it whatever the dice number is?
I feel like it's the strength.
Okay, we'll go with strength. That sounds right. The strength and type equal to 1 of the chosen character's attacks with a power cost of 0. Range and line of sight are measured from the chosen character instead of Lady Mastermind during this attack. This superpower can only be used once per turn. She has a couple innate superpowers. She has Brain Fog. During this character's activation, enemy characters cannot use superpowers or reactive team tactics cards like Mystique and Emma Frost. She has Mental Lock. When an enemy character targets this character with an attack, it may use its Mystic Defense regardless of the attack type unless the attacking character pays 2. She has Try a Little Harder next time. When an enemy character within 3 of this character rolls 1 or more skulls in any roll, this character gains 1 power. So she has a lot going on. Let's go over the attack, the stealing the attack thing. So
One more reason not to play Carnage.
Well, I think there's a couple of characters this really does hit hard if Bob's on the field. So the ability reads none of the extra text. So it's literally just the strength, just the range, just what type it is. So for Bob, you don't need an unload token or a loaded token. You just get that 9 dice.
Yeah, Bob is definitely like the biggest winner out of that.
Yeah, I think Bob. I think Shuri is another one where you get a 6 dice energy attack that no longer just causes 1 damage. Range 5.
Yeah, I think a lot of your long range beam characters is probably going to be worth it to try to steal those attacks.
Well, it doesn't get the beam ability, right?
I'm pretty sure it would.
That's part of the range. I would think you could. I would think you could steal, but you have to have a beam that's a 0, which there are some that do.
I mean, we saw Avalanche above has it.
Yeah. There's a bunch that do. Like Iceman has it and stuff. But I don't know if that's what, like, do you want to take Iceman's 4 dice beam over
Well, there's some
Probably
characters
somebody
that
else
have
hitting a little
5
harder.
dice beams out there. I mean, there are some good 0-cost beams, and a lot of characters, even your 5-cost characters, majority of them have only
Who has a
3 missed.
zero-cost beam of 5 dice?
Let me go pull them up. I think one of them should be Nova has one. Pretty sure. Grabbing Jarvis real quick.
Well, he looks that up. Let's go to the mental lock. I think that ability is really good. The one where the opponent has to pay 2.
Yeah, it's really weird. I think this is the first time that I've seen something like that where their defense is only 1 apart.
Right. So most of the time, nobody's really going to pay that 2 to drop your defense by 1. I think that's really
That's
good
sneakily
compared to
good.
like
Yeah.
Mysterio's version or Professor X's version, where dropping it, you're gonna pay to drop it.
So what's funny is I am least interested in her in Brotherhood, but there are several affiliations I really want her in.
She's the one I'm really curious about for Apocalypse.
So I think Apocalypse, I mean, her as Pestilence is just disgusting because of how much damage she can put out with it. But even with like Midnight Suns, if you put her with Elsa, you're guaranteed to put a root on them on the first attack, which means at the minimum you're doing 2 to 3 damage on the second attack. Like, think of how much, because it's up to 2 conditions, right? So you can take 4 damage easily off of any target with any condition heavy affiliation. So
No, I don't
Elsa
think it's up to 2. I think it's you remove 2 and it does 2 damage.
it's remove 2 and deal 2. I thought it was okay.
It has to be 2
It
conditions.
has to be 2.
Yes.
That makes it way worse than I thought it was.
Yeah,
Well, that's good because it was broken the other way.
Like, do you want it in Apocalypse? Because, like, is
then
it better to leave the conditions on?
Not necessarily, because it depends on how redundant those conditions are.
But
Because
what you do is you don't leave them on, you take off the ones that you're already going to put back on, essentially.
right.
Because if you're just going to hand out bleed and poison again, or like incinerate, would be the prime one. Like, hey, I'll take away incinerate, and if I'm just going to give it back, kind of thing.
And you do know what the roll result is before you choose, so you'll know whether or not you're going to be putting those conditions back on.
Gotcha.
And then I don't mind like losing some of those other conditions to end up putting on incinerate, because I really like having incinerate out there, kind of thing. It's not bad. Like, let's say you handed out, poison and a bleed, but it's like, all right, well, I'm going to remove poison and bleed. I did get 2 wild, so now you can have shock and incinerate. I like her. I definitely want to see her, play her on the board. I'm a little disappointed in her model.
Yeah, I don't like
Why?
the cat.
So the cat was a weird choice to begin with, and I thought there was going to be some kind of reason for that. But then we look at the art on her card, and she has this really cool sentinel illusion behind her. Why couldn't we get that? That art is so cool.
How would you transfer that art into a model?
I don't give a shit. Find something else, but like, then don't do this art. You know what I mean?
They're on a bigger base.
I mean, the art is great.
Right. And I think this would have been so cool to have like that illusion sentinel behind her. And I get it. It would definitely make her, she'd have to be on a medium base or whatever. But the cat is such a weird thing. It looks so odd. I don't get it. I get she makes illusions, but who in the end was like, we have to make it look like she makes illusions? How about we do like the Puma symbol? It is a very weird choice.
It's like the car emblem for Jaguar.
Yeah, it's super weird when you could have something so cool.
Maybe AMG needs to start picking up sponsors to help, subsidize the cost of the game. So
yeah, and
Puma sponsored this one. We will get to see a
weird.
Mercedes-Benz with who's the big Sentinel coming out later?
Nimrod.
Yeah, Nimrod will just have a giant Mercedes symbol on his chest.
I feel like they just had a leftover Panther sculpt from one of the Wakanda models. And they're like, just throw it on there. Like, it was like the early Panther for Black Panther 3. And they're like, no, I think the wavy thing looks weird. We'll put it on Masterminds. It's fine. And then, but don't make it a Panther. Put some spots on it.
The spots are just painted on there. It can be whatever you want.
That's what I mean. It's odd. I wonder if the spots, I mean, I don't think they are, but if they are, like, engraved a little bit so they're easier to paint. Because I kind of wish Malekith had that.
Yeah, the fact that Malekith did not have that makes me think that
Yeah.
it's a smooth model.
I'm sure it is a smooth model, but I wish we would have learned from Malekith that, like, hey, we probably should have put those lines on the model.
All right.
With those guys, we are also getting some team tactics cards. We'll go down these. We get Mirage. This is unaffiliated reactive. When an enemy character attacks an allied character within 3 of an allied mastermind during the modified dice step, Lady Mastermind may pay 2 to play this card. For each skull in the attack roll, Lady Mastermind may change 1 result in the attack roll to a blank. For each dice result changed in this way, the enemy character loses a power. Then, after the attack is resolved, if 1 or more dice were changed, the defending character may advance short.
Interesting.
When it says the defending character may advance short, is that your opponent moving them?
I assume it's you advancing your own character that was targeted by the attack.
That's how I take it.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I got you. I got confused. Yeah, you're right. It lets you move your character out of range, like a fallback afterwards. Yeah. Okay.
The only thing I don't like about this card is it requires your opponent to have already rolled skulls, so it's sort of like a lose more card.
Well, you do get to use it during the modify. Like, you don't have to do it ahead of time. But you're right. It is a lose more where they've already rolled skulls.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
like,
it
haha,
could.
you rolled 2 skulls and 2 successes. I'm going to make you
Yeah, I guess it
completely
could
fail.
matter though. Like if it's a big roll,
Yeah.
it could matter. But then I feel like it's niche and won't come up enough.
Also,
the-
the power loss is before they gained any power from the attack. So if it's a big builder, then they're still gaining all
Yeah.
that power.
The
Also,
only thing that makes it somewhat useful is the short movement.
That's the only thing that makes it useful. It's actually anti-synergistic with her own character card because the character already has to be within 3 and roll a skull, and she gains power that way. So you're literally saying, oh, you lose, try a little harder next time, and replace it with this.
Well, you don't replace the skull.
You don't? I thought it says you flip
You
on the
change
blanks.
one result in the
Yeah.
attack to a blank for each skull. The skulls stay.
One attack. Okay, the skulls do stay. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
they stay. But I don't know if this is like. It's not even Brotherhood only. It's just for Lady Mastermind, but I still don't think you take it that often. You're 5, or there's so many cards to pick from, and I don't know if this is like one that's really gonna stand out.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yep. Moving on to the next one. The pawns go first. This is a Brotherhood of Mutants reactive card. During the end phase, any number of allied Brotherhood of Mutants characters with a threat value of 3 or less may pay 1 to play this card. Each character that played this card may choose an allied Brotherhood of Mutants character with a threat value of 5 or greater within 3 and choose one of the following options below. Resolve each op completely before choosing the next. You can advance short towards the chosen character, remove a damage and a special condition from the chosen character, or the chosen character gains a power. I don't know how I feel about this one either.
Well,
I get what we're going for with a Brotherhood is we want to have a bunch of 3 threats on the board, but for some reason we also want to have, I feel like, multiple 5 threats on the board, right?
yeah, it's weird that it's in the end phase. I mean, you can really yeet a 5 threat across the board because you could move them short twice pretty easily.
No, the 3 threats move.
The 3 threats move. I thought it was.
No, you choose a character, so may choose an allied character. So you're choosing the 5 threats. You're choosing Magneto. You can move short towards Magneto, or you can remove a damage and a special condition from Magneto, or you can give Magneto a power.
Okay.
So it allows your 3 threats to get a short movement all around the board, but you have to move towards Magneto. So Magneto has to be in prime position. Granted, I mean, it can be Juggernaut or Exodus. I'm just using Magneto as the example. And if you have 2 of them on the board, you can move towards whichever one.
Who pays for the card?
The
3
threes.
threats. The 3 threats are paying 1.
And then they can gain 1 power? Why would they ever do that?
No. They don't gain 1 power. They're paying 1 to give
The
Magneto
chosen
a power.
character. I
Yes.
see. And they can also remove a heal and remove a condition from Magneto.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, it's pretty good if like Magneto and Exodus or Magneto, like, hey, I'll pay 1 off of Toad and Blob to remove it.
Yeah, and you also heal damage.
You also have to be within 3 though.
Yeah, that's the weird one.
There's a lot of like conditions, I feel like, in a way that I don't know how useful this really is. I don't think it's useful on like multiple characters. You're not gonna have like 3/3 threats really getting value out of this. This might be like one of those cards like Avengers Assembled, where sometimes you just need it for that one person.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's at the end phase. That's after no mission scores at the end phase, does it? That's all in the cleanup.
Believe in the cleanup is when you score. I'd have to look. Somebody else to look it up.
I mean, I'm not really versed in Brotherhood Mutants. I've only played them a few times. This is a Brotherhood card. I know you always take Asteroid M.
And you take magnetic refraction
if you're taking Magnet. Yeah. And you probably take Nothing Stops the Juggernaut if you're taking Juggernaut.
Yeah.
So that's already 3 cards.
Right, and then you have 2 restricted if you take 2. But even if you only take 1 restricted, it leaves you 1 slot left. But then, like, are you taking Mystique? You're probably going to take her Deception card, or whatever it's called now. You know, if you have somebody else, there's probably a card you're going to take with somebody else. Like, if you're playing with Magneto, characters that benefit from that extra power are really good. Like, I like playing Wrecking Crew, and I'm going to take Stronger Together over this.
Now, can all of the 3s pick the same 5 cost?
Yes.
They actually have to, don't they?
No. Each character
play
choose an ally.
Each one that played
Yep.
chooses
Each one can choose a different one. So like let's say you have you somehow got like if you just play Magneto and so he's 6 and we're playing, 20 or whatever. How many you can get 6 characters? 5 characters. You can have 5 characters that are 3 or under.
No.
Toad and 3
Oh,
characters.
yeah, Toad and
Toad and 3 threats. So you could potentially heal him for 5.
Or you could just play Patch
everyone
Up.
has to be within 3, That's true. Or you could just but Patch Up is 1 power or is 5 power off of 1 character. This is just 1 power off of a bunch of characters.
That are all within 3.
Correct. I agree. I think with it being within 3 is rough.
I'm also wondering if there's any kind of like turn 1 jank that could be played with it. Where
That's
like
what
they
I
all
was
start
thinking
near
is
Magneto
that
to
it's
give him a bunch of power.
Yeah, it's like a To Me My X-Men almost.
And then you run Juggernaut forward, and then you can Asteroid M.
Well, it doesn't make
Magneto.
Juggernaut move.
Well, no, I'm saying like you can move Juggernaut forward
I understand.
that turn, and then Asteroid M Magneto right to Juggernaut with X amount of power on him.
Right. Yeah, that might be a thing too. There's probably something going on where I do think it is like, and it's funny because it's called Pawns Go First, so maybe it is meant to be like that early card to advance characters or to give power somewhere to make those characters pop off early, rather than healing. Because you know what it's a lot like, reminds me of is like Baron Zemo's card.
Yeah.
I never use it for the healing purposes.
I almost think it works best with Juggernaut.
Well, Juggernaut and Magneto to power up Magneto, and Juggernaut is your midline character that you're Asteroid Emming to afterwards.
Yeah, either that or Juggernaut moves forward, and then everyone else shorts to him, and you just flood the midline.
You know what else is unfortunate about this card is that Lady Mastermind is a 4. So she doesn't get any of the benefits and doesn't pay the cost either. Like she's in such a weird spot.
2 out of the 3 can't get it.
Yeah, that sucks.
You'd be a really busted 3.
Yeah, definitely. How many more cards? Yeah, 2 more cards. We have Genetic Superiority. This is a Brotherhood of Mutants reactive card. When this character is included in your squad, if your squad includes... By the way, when did Magneto's name change?
Did it?
I thought his name was Eric.
Yeah,
and I thought his name was Magnus.
It was definitely Eric in the movies.
When I first read this card, I didn't know who that was. I had to look it up. I was like, I've never heard anybody called Magneto Max.
Yeah?
But when the squad includes Max, Eisenhart, and Exodus, you may play this card. When this card is played, set it near the battlefield instead of discarding it. Once per turn, when an allied character with a threat value of 4 or less suffers 1 or more damage from enemy effect, chosen allied Brotherhood of Mutants character with a threat value of 5 or greater within 5, the chosen character gains a power. This one's weird that it says threat value 4. but the other one doesn't. Why is this one 4 and the other card's 3?
Oh, to let Mastermind play with this card.
Sure. It's a neat card, but it's a neat card that requires 11 points and a tactics card slot.
I think this card could be pretty freaking awesome in doubles.
I agree. That's exactly what I was thinking. This is a doubles card. I take Magneto, you take Exodus, we fill in the rest with cheap characters, and we basically get a second leadership.
Yeah, seems all right.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a doubles card.
Though it doesn't say Magneto, so there could be a Mag 2 coming. He would have to be a threat value 5 or greater to benefit from this card, but might only be 10 threat.
Here comes Onslaught.
You think Onslaught would?
Wasn't Onslaught Professor X?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, so I'm looking
know
up the
some
name.
sort of
I'm looking
merger
up the
between the
name
two.
thing because the name thing's driving me nuts. I guess Max Eisenhardt is his Wikipedia name, but it says also known as Eric Magnus Lenscher. Why the fuck? I'm gonna
That's a
find out why
very
he's-
different name.
Well,
So-
Eric Magnus is the name I know him from.
So I looked it up real quick while you guys were discussing the card.
Mhm.
His real name is Max. His middle name is Magnus. He had some gentleman named George Odekirk forge his new identity as a Holocaust survivor called Eric Leshier, or whatever his last name is.
I was about to guess this exact thing. Was this
So-
after he got out of Auschwitz, basically?
Yeah, so the fake identity is Eric. His middle
what
name is
purpose?
Magnus, and his real name is Max.
But why would you need a fake identity? You're
No.
fucking Magneto. Like, what are you afraid the Nazis are gonna get you?
I mean, it
I'm
might
pretty
have
sure
all
you
been-
fucked them all up.
Might have been prior to him turning into Magneto. Maybe this was like right after the Holocaust stuff. But yeah, his fake identity is Eric.
Nope, that's weird. I had never heard, like, in all the comic books I've read, I've never seen Max as like his thing. I wonder like when that became canon.
Well, definitely before they did Days of Futures Past or whichever movie that was featured in.
Oh, I'm not even thinking about movies. Like, fuck the movies because they.
Well, I'm
screw
just saying,
everything up,
like,
but
the
yeah.
movie didn't make that up, so
Right,
it must
right,
have been
right.
in comics before that.
Right, and that's what I'm wondering is like when did that storyline pop up where they're like, oh, your name's been Max this whole time. Professor X is like, dude, I've been calling you Eric and Magnus for fucking 50 years, and I could read your mind.
Well, then Professor X knew.
Yep, I think this is a doubles card. I don't know if I play it in a singles match.
And I like the
It is
flavor
a fun
of it.
card. I would like to try it. But then at the same time, it's like, you know, if you have Magneto and you have Exodus on the board, the odds of you playing,
More than 2 other characters.
well, not even more than 2 other characters, the odds of you playing Mystique's leadership seems low, right? So you're already gaining power from Magneto's leadership. Magneto's also already gaining power from his constructs. So he's gaining 3 a turn, basically after turn 2 from his constructs. He's probably gaining a power here and there from throwing terrain and other people destroying terrain. And then now my little characters are taking damage, so I'm also gaining more power. And I'm getting my ass kicked. So I feel like it's overkill on Magneto power.
Not necessarily. I mean, the problem I've always had with playing Brotherhood at like Adepticon or any of those things is the boards are always so light that you do run out of terrain by turn 3.
Yeah.
So this is just another way for you to keep on feeding that power engine of yours.
I feel like I always have a ton of power on him.
You're not attacking enough then.
What are you talking about? He has like nothing to spend it on other than throwing stuff.
I forgot what his spender is, to be honest with you.
His spender's at like area 1.
Yeah, I recall it was an area. Is it not good or is...
I mean, it's okay. I like having all the rerolls on your basic builder though. Within 2, you reroll everything. That's pretty great.
He has guaranteed stun.
I don't know. I feel like you spend his power to throw stuff, but then when you run out of throwing stuff, you're going to use it on like the refraction field thing.
Yes, which I thought you were already spending the power on that every turn anyways, except for maybe turn 1.
Yeah. I don't know. I just always feel like, because then he usually gets like, even with his like his special defenses and the cover, I still feel like he gets his ass kicked really easy. So then you end up like building so much power from him just taking damage. He has 8 health, doesn't he?
He has 6 on the front side. I think it's 8 on the back side.
Yeah. So I feel like I always have power on him because you send him out there and his like main attack is, you're mostly doing it within 2 to get those full rerolls. So you're in the danger zone. I don't know. We'll put it on the board. We'll check it out. We'll see how it goes. The last tactics card they have is Fault Line. During the power phase, an allied Avalanche and an allied Pyro may spend 1 to play this card. This round, Avalanche and Pyro increase their range of their Seismokinesis and their Flame Jet attacks to beam 5. So they're both beam 3. They end up stretching all the way out to beam 5. I like this card.
Okay, so hear me out. This is now the reason why Pawns Go First is not a bad card, because you use the advanced short to move both Pyro and Avalanche to where you need them so they can get at least 3 characters in their beams. You play that card, and then you're already set up.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid, especially like if Pyro has gotten his butt whooped like he tends to do. He flips, you play this, your first activation is Pyro. You have that beam set up. You can use the Pawns Go First to set up that beam. And then you should have enough power to stoke the flames. So if you have your full power, you flipped, so you got 5 power from dying. Stoke the flames costs 3. Your tactics card costs 1, and your other tactics card costs 1, so that's full 5.
Well, you can't play the other one if you're dazed, because that's at the end phase.
Well, you'll still have enough somehow.
You'll have enough somewhere. You also had 1 from the first turn, right? So
true, you would have 1 from turns, but Stoke the Flames is the entire attack action. So your beam 4 is a beam 6 for dice-wise, beam 5 for 6 dice, handing out incinerates on wilds. That's pretty good.
Yep, don't be near Pyro if that card's taken.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why Pyro gets picked on so bad. It's because he's gonna be a menace.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of times where I hit Pyro and then all of a sudden the clap back. I'm like, oh my god, I always forget how brutal it is.
Yeah, he's got to go. But that is all for the new Brotherhood box coming out in August. I'm excited for it. I like Brotherhood. I don't know that these characters fix anything. Like, Brotherhood's kind of down right now. I don't think any of these characters push them into the meta any more than they already are.
No, I don't think any of these cards really help on, or characters. I mean, I really do like Lady Mastermind. I am excited for her, but
I'm excited. I like Avalanche as a character, and I like that he's in that goofy 90s costume. And he's been one I've been like, I don't know why we made Pyro and blah, but we haven't made Avalanche because he's like the trio part of it. So I am glad he's out.
Yeah.
And Exodus looks badass. He's a pretty sweet model.
Do you like yeah, everything except for the cat I do like about the sculpting of the models.
Yes.
Nothing screams like this fixes mission play with Brotherhood at all.
Yeah, it's odd.
I don't play Brotherhood that much, so I don't have too terribly much to say about it.
I want to. I'm gonna put them on the board. I don't think they're gonna make it like, oh man, Brotherhood's the shit,
Yeah, I played him for a hot minute. I bounced between Mystique and Magneto. Found that I liked Magneto better. I don't think the characters are going to wow anything, and I think Avalanche is just, you're now putting Avalanche in where you might have put Pyro or might have put Blob in. And so, at least with my play style, I know a lot of people will end up going Mystique and going wider and maybe not worrying about Magneto, so it gives you 2 more 3s on the board. But I don't know, for how I played them, and I haven't, other than the battle report, haven't really played them at a tournament scene. I don't know if it's viable to play the way I was with the taller playstyle, because all the mission objectives that I used to take, which were all your down the middles, that they're all gone. So I don't know how well going tall with them would be anymore.
Yeah, I don't think tall is the play.
I think they want you to play, like, I think AMG's goal is to have you play like one big guy and a bunch of little guys.
Which sucks.
I think that's
when,
what they're trying to
you have
force you to do.
3 5s in Brotherhood and you have several 4s.
Yeah, and they literally printed a card that says, hey, take a 5 and a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part I don't understand about that card, is that I feel like they want you to play all these 3 threats, and they want you to have like kind of like a one big bad leading your force. But then that card comes out, it's like, well, there's 11 points, and I think you guys are forgetting about Juggernaut, that he's really good, and it's really hard not to take Juggernaut.
Not only good, but very thematic. Like Juggernaut is like he is Brotherhood. Like
I will argue with that one. I don't
really, you
think
don't.
he's no. I never really thought of him as a Brotherhood character. I don't think it's a weird thing that it always came up that he was, but he's not a mutant.
Really?
So
I thought he was Eric's brother. Is he not Magneto's brother?
no, he is stepbrothers with Professor X.
Oh, it's Professor X. He's really,
but they're
okay.
stepbrothers. They're not like blood. All his ability comes from the helmet, where like he has that stone in his helmet, which makes him, what it's like Cytarax or some shit like that. But I always thought it was odd that he was considered a Brotherhood character. I get it. I know it's like a thing, but in my head, I don't see him that way. He's always been more of an independent character.
So he's not. Is he actually a mutant though, or is he technically not a mutant?
They could have changed it, but originally he was not a mutant at all, because the helmet has a stone in it, and the stone gives him all of his abilities.
Yeah, it makes him like the avatar of whatever.
Yeah, the avatar of whatever. It starts with a C.
Yeah,
Kane. He's the Avatar Kane.
the avatar of Angry Richard Cider.
So did he originally fall into the realm of like how Moon Knight and all of them were, where they got their powers from gods?
Yeah, if that whatever that thing is a god. I don't really know what it is. I just know that that's where it originally came from, was he gets a stone, and the stone gives him the ability, because at one point Colossus wears the helmet. And he becomes the unstoppable Colossus, which I think is the worst iteration of Colossus. He looks so stupid. And that was like a big thing when you knock the helmet off, he would lose a lot of his strength and stuff like that. He's still like a big boy. In one like iteration too, he would shrink and he would turn into like a little man.
Yeah, I think that was like the older '90s one, because that's what I remember. Like when he gets his helmet knocked off and he like shrinks down.
Mm-hmm. And then I think over time they've just changed it where now he's just always a big boy, but he does like lose a lot of it if he doesn't have the helmet on. So he might be a mutant now, but I never really thought of him as that way. I always thought of him as more of an independent kind of guy. He's just kind of a dick.
It doesn't say, I mean, I'm looking at his Wikipedia. It doesn't say that he ever became a mutant. Just everything that you already said.
Right.
It says really
every time I've seen him, he's been with Magneto and like involved with the Brotherhood. So it's just in my head. Even with the video game, I mean, you fight him, then you fight Magneto.
Yeah, the old I know which one you're talking about. But in that one you also like you're fighting Wendigo and a bunch of other random things. I don't think it really is like, I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But a lot of the times I feel like in the comics and stuff, he doesn't really have much to do with the Brotherhood. Like he has moments where he interacts with the Brotherhood, but he isn't really like a full-fledged member, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely not part of like the original.
Just maybe more organized under Magneto.
Right. Like I'm looking at it now. Apparently, like the only time he was part of Brotherhood was in Exodus's Brotherhood. He was in there. And I wonder if that's not just because he's like friends with Tom Cassidy, who is Black Tom. He's a weird character. But if you look at most of them, he's not really in the Brotherhood of Mutants that often, compared to some of the other more staple characters like Sabretooth, Blob, Pyro, Avalanche. But I get it. Where are you going to put him?
I actually think that it's not as tied to his helmet as you might think. They basically made him into Black Panther later on in the comics.
Well, the helmet has the gem in it. The gem is what it's tied to.
Right, but like apparently he was put in there and they destroyed the gem, so he lost both the blessings of Kurth and Cytarax.
Yeah, that's the name. And then he had to go to like hell and get them back.
Well, he went to he joined up with the Thunderbolts, and Satana aids Man-Thing in opening a gateway to the Crimson Cosmos, where Kane Marco, aka Juggernaut, was still Juggernaut. So they went into that other realm, killed that Juggernaut and gave Marco back being the Juggernaut by basically taking it away from his other alternate reality self.
God, this sounds like a crazy storyline.
Well, this is a 2010 storyline, so you know that this is the quality comics.
Yeah.
The multiverse. It's always the multiverse.
Lazy bastards. Such a cop out in writing.
I remember
We
seeing
fixed
like
it.
one
Multiverse.
comic. He got like he showed up, somebody big and bad showed up, and he's like, "Oh, stop, I'm the Juggernaut." And whoever that character was just like slapped the shit out of him, and he like disappeared, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's dead." And you find out like later that he's like, "Well, this sucks. I need to get more power." And he goes to like wherever that Cyterax guy is and tries to like get more power from him because he was too weak. But he's been a good guy for a long time now, a very long time. 'Cause he's on the current X-Men roster. He's part of Excalibur. I think the last time I saw him be a bad guy was in Identity Disc, and that was only because he was being bribed, which is a really cool miniseries. If anybody wants to check it out, Identity Disc, they get a bunch of random hero or villains, and it's almost like Suicide Squad-ish, and they all have to go break into this place to get a disc that has all the superhero aliases on it.
Didn't they have wasn't there a stupid like Mission Impossible movie with that same plot?
The first Mission Impossible, I think, has the witness protection program codes on it.
Yeah, that was it. Oh no, it was the asset, the real identities of all spies in the entire world, wasn't it?
You know which one I'm thinking of? Eraser.
Okay.
Because in that one, that was the witness protection one with the big alligators and the sweet guns that could shoot through walls.
Yeah, I never watched Eraser.
You're missing out. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's an Arnold movie. If you like Arnold movies,
I
mean,
I do like Arnold movies.
Then you'll probably like Eraser. Eraser's better than like Sixth Day.
Hey, that movie was totally a B-.
Well, if you think if that's a B-, you'll like Eraser. Because Sixth Day was not good.
I mean, the 6 Day. Oh wait, hold on, wait. Was 6 Day the one with the clones?
That's the clones.
Oh, never.
Yeah.
I was thinking the one with the devil.
End of Days? I
yes,
like
End of Days. That's what I was like. I liked End of Days. I don't know why you're ragging on that. Okay.
Yeah,
the
like
clone one was definitely a bit rough.
Yeah. That was towards the end. That was like one of the later ones. That's I think why. As it went on, they were getting like worse and worse. Side notes.
Hey
everyone, I just want to take a quick moment to say a massive thank you for tuning into episode 17 of a Target Acquired podcast. We hope you're loving it so far. If you're enjoying the episode, do us a solid, hit that like button, let us know. We also just launched a Patreon, so if you'd like to support the show and help us keep creating awesome content, we'd be incredibly grateful. Every bit of support goes right back into making this podcast, our videos, and live streams even better. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a podcast, battle report, or live stream. We've got plenty more coming on the way. Want to keep this conversation going? Join our Discord. It's the perfect place to chat about the episodes, share your thoughts, and connect with other listeners. All links you need are in the show notes, and come hang out.
All right, time for the meat and potatoes 2025 character updates. Ooh, all right.
2025 May character updates.
2025 May character slate rewordings. All right, so Team Tactics card.
We're not even halfway through the year, and I feel like this is the biggest disappointment of the year.
Well, you know what? That means that you got a lot to look forward to still.
Yeah.
All right, 2025 character updates. We're going to start with Team Tactics cards. 5 cards were updated. 4 of them were just basically word cleaning, making it sound better. 7 Sons of Cinnabons, Vapors of Altor, Magnetic Crush, Astral Ring. And then the last one is Mutant Trader. Mutant Trader changed the first sentence so the damage doesn't apply to each attack. Rather, after all the attacks in the beam, if any of them had 2 or more wilds, the character suffers 1 damage. Does anybody have any comments about the 5 tactics cards?
Are you hungry over there?
I
am.
I want some cinnamon buns right now, that's for sure.
I will always call it 7 Sons of Cinnabon.
And I'm glad you do.
Nope, I don't care. I don't.
Yay,
These
they
cards
fixed
didn't
some
get
wording.
used to begin with.
This is totally going to fix them. So
yeah,
they get
cleaning up
played.
the words did nothing to change whether or not these cards get played or not. Like I had to go back and look at Magnetic Crush because I was like, I don't remember what the hell that does.
So speaking of
Magneto card.
Yeah, so with Magnetic Crush, the only thing I'm actually interested in, so when they did all these fixes, they added the active action, a title to everything, except for Magnetic Crush. So does that mean that you can use that attack like how Beta Ray has his Tactics card, where it's like another free attack within your turn, not costing you an action? Because they didn't add that to it.
I actually had the exact same question when I saw that, because I'd noticed that everything else added action to the attack word.
I do not know. I'm pulling up the card now because I can't even tell you what it does.
Well, for instance, like Cinnabons literally says this is an attack action now.
No, I'm pretty sure you still take some action because it just allows you to use this attack. It doesn't not allow you to not make an action.
So then they either missed it and they just didn't add it when they should have, or I don't know what their logic behind it is, because they changed all the other ones that were attacks to have that action put on it.
Which one was Scuttlebutt on me is the
Yes.
Yeah,
both
that's the
one.
free action one.
I think that's because that one says they immediately perform the attack listed above, whereas Magnetic Crush says they may use this attack.
Correct. That's what I think as
I
well.
think it's
It's
just
not-
a typo that they ended up messing up on, where they should have added it after the active.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that because it's not that the card's not taking an action. The card is saying that you now have that attack that you can use on your turn.
Right, where Seven Sons of Cinnabis specifically says when you're doing it, it makes this attack shown above. It's not adding it to your character like Magnetic Crush is adding it to your character. It's weird. It's a weird way of doing
It is
it.
a
I don't know
weird way
why
of
they're
doing
not
it.
both the same,
Yeah, because
but it has to do with that weird wording.
Yeah, because it only allows you to do it once, right? It's
Yes.
not like adding it to your list of abilities.
Well, it does add it to the list of abilities, but then it says you may only use this attack once as a closing rider to it.
I don't know why they wanted to make it, I guess, different. It's just it just muddles it up more, which is what I thought they were trying to do the opposite of with cleaning some of the cards up.
Yeah, not sure.
But I saw it. I thought it was interesting. I thought maybe it was a typo.
Well, that's it for the cards. That's very uneventful.
Yeah. Now we
Speaking
go
of
into the character
uneventful,
cards. All right, so going down the list of character cards, there's 16 on the list. Number 1, we have Bullseye, that menace. His gainer dropped from range 4 to range 3. Because what do we want in the game? We want our 2s to be worse, not better.
This is a stupid change.
I don't know why.
I think this is a change that is way too late. It is years too late when Bullseye was like a menace in the meta for a little bit. And then they're like, let's change it 2-3 years down the road. Why?
It doesn't make sense because if his basic, which is him doing the same kind of thing, which is throwing knives, is range 4, why would his spender not be range 4?
Right. I thought the same thing too. Like, why didn't you drop both of them then?
Or do the reverse. Throw knives is range 3, and then his spender is range 4. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he needed it. I don't think it was causing things to be broken with it being range 4.
I don't think it needed to happen. I think he was fine just the way he was. He wasn't breaking anything. I think, like we said before, the problem is there's not enough 2s in the game. So if we're comparing all the 2s together, Bullseye and Toad are pretty darn good. But it doesn't mean that they need to be nerfed. It means that you need to add more 2s to the game so every affiliation has a 2 so they don't have to go, well, we need a 2 in our 10, so we're going to take Bullseye or Toad. But if you had an affiliated 2, those guys are like Toad might have been still an option, but Bullseye probably wasn't an option unless you were using him for just that, You're just taking him for a 2.
Yeah, you know what if they wanted to really nerf him to like balance him out more, I would have gotten rid of the rapid fire on his spender. That would have made him on par with all the other 2s.
How often do you ever use his spender? Because I always am draining his power and parting shot.
Yeah, I'm using parting shot and never miss.
I was going to say, and maybe I misheard you, Jeremy, but I just want to clarify his gainer is what dropped from range 4 to
His
3.
gainer is what dropped. Okay, I thought it was the pincushion that dropped.
No,
okay.
his spender is still range 4.
Okay, well then, yeah, I mean, then, I don't know, that is just a dumb fix. It doesn't really solve anything. it's always going to be a gainer, so it doesn't matter if it's range 3 or range 4. Yeah, he's closer, sure, but is he the one you're focusing on really when you're dealing with stuff? Especially if he can do the parting shot, he's going to get away from you anyways. I think his problem was just the I never miss is just really really good for cleaning up on people.
I think the problem is the rest of the two suck ass, and
Sure, they do for the most
like
part.
you've like Okoye's played where she's needed.
They're all like played for one specific reason. So like if you're doing attrition, Bullseye's probably your attrition 2. Do
Yeah,
you need a cheap ass bodyguard? Okoye is your 2. Are you going for scenario based teams? Toad is your 2. Those are just the one. Or I mean, same thing with like attrition. If Nebula is also definitely, if you want attrition, you take Nebula. You don't take her for scenario teams.
yeah.
So they all have like their purpose and where they belong. But if every affiliation doesn't have a 2, sometimes you don't have a choice and you have to take, like, if you want to play wide X-Men or you want to play wide Web Warriors, you probably need a 2. Well, I'm going to have to pick. Who am I going to pick?
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't understand why there is not a 2 for every affiliation yet. Um, if you were going to keep 2s in the game and not just bump everyone up to minimum of 3, we should have a 2 for every affiliation if the goal is to be able to stay affiliated and bring other people along and you just need a 2 to make it work. It doesn't make sense for them not to have a 2 on every affiliation yet.
There was this weird time like within the last year where they were just pumping out 4.
Yeah, that was like with Spider-Woman and Gwenom and all of them were coming out, and Psylocke
Right.
around that same
Everybody
time.
was a 4 for like a long time.
But
But hopefully, well, this is coming back. We're gonna get Spider-Ham as a 2. Jubilee better be a 2. Jubilee should be
Jubilee's
a
not a
2.
2, we riot.
AMG. Yeah, if Jubilee's not a 2, everybody riots because I'll never figure out how you're gonna push her to be anything else.
All right, we'll move on. Doctor Strange 2, Sorcerer Supreme. Eye Agamotto added dodge rolls to the full rerolls he can do. The end. Cosmic Ghost Rider. We just have the card.
That is so annoying.
Yeah, he's just like he was.
That is the most frustrating thing ever, that like they never made the print to play card for him and they're like, let's just put it in the May updates like it's something cool and new. That sucks. That's so annoying.
That is kind of a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, that one's very annoying.
Gambit we already went over, which is unfortunate because he was one of the more exciting ones.
He got a lot of changes. We went over all of them in a previous episode. I think he's definitely one of the winners out of the group.
Yep. X-23, Adamantium Skeleton removed, and Frenzy reworded. And from what I can tell, Frenzy rewording was just pretty much when you pay for it. You pay for it after the attack instead of when it dazes or KOs.
yeah, they added that after the attack is resolved. I think it's pretty much what they added. The skeleton going away, that was kind of odd to me.
It was weird because, like, I know Honey Badger doesn't have an adamantium skeleton, like in the comic book wise. I thought Laura did.
Yeah, I thought so too. The only thing I can think is because she's in New Mutants, they didn't want her being thrown around into the other New Mutants and just destroying the team. But outside of that, like, there's no reason for it. It wasn't doing anything.
She does not have an adamantium skeleton. That is why she does not have it in her card.
So she should have never
Yeah.
had it in the first place. Okay.
Makes sense.
Well done.
Angelic Assassination,
Okay, so
rewording, same.
She does sometimes and doesn't sometimes. There's like multiple things.
Well,
Yeah,
well, they're
there's
just-
a bunch of like those kinds of things where she does have it or she doesn't have it. So at least there's like a weird argument of why she doesn't have it.
Wolverine had that problem too. Thanks, Magneto.
Do you ever think we're gonna get that?
No.
That would
What?
be
You don't
cool.
think we're gonna get? God damn it! What was his name? He had bone claws, but he had a name.
I can't remember. Wasn't it like Wild something or?
Well, it wasn't Patch, because Patch was when He wore the suit and stuff. God, he had a card. I remember having like the fucking like the masterpiece card, and he has like the bone claws. All right,
Okay.
well, keep going. I'll figure it out.
Angelic assassination rewording. So same thing as Frenzy. They just changed when the trigger happened. Heimdall, all seeing eyes increase from range 4 or to range 4 from range 3.
That
Whoop-de-doo.
is actually good. Really? I think that's more than a whoop-de-doo, because that's going to make him annoying as shit in Steve 1.
There's a lot of things that are annoying in Steve 1. But like,
Yeah, I
how does
think-
it affect him in Asgard?
It doesn't help him at
Yeah.
all.
Okay.
Yeah, moving it from range 4 to range 3, I think, is a big deal, but it's dumb because it's not a big deal where it matters.
Correct.
It's a big deal in Steve. And that's annoying that this doesn't help him in his home affiliation at all. Because his problem is he doesn't have enough power to do all the cool things that he has on his card. And even just generating one extra doesn't help him. And he's never in the fight, so he can't generate power. This fix is unfortunate, and I feel like pointless. It's not going to make you see him in Asgard anymore.
No, but you might see him in Steve now more.
Yes, you'll probably see him in Steve. But Steve is generally, I think, a problem now. He's becoming more and more a problem as time goes on.
Yeah,
That's the toy they'll never touch. They're not going to
every
mess with him.
character that comes out has to be Steve proof.
I wouldn't be surprised if Steve got a touch at some point where they... I heard a lot of people talking about making it like Mystique's, where you get refunded a power. So you have to have the initial power to make those things happen. And that would solve a lot of the turn 1 jank problem.
Yeah. So now we got Bishop. Overload was changed to the cleanup phase, which now he just doesn't get punished for being dazed and then flipping and then instantly taking damage again.
Gives him the ability to get rid of all of his power too. I mean, it does help.
Oh, it certainly makes me hate him less.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his card was made a long time ago. I think he's one of those characters they made a very, very long time ago. And his wording equaled out with the wording from like Cubes. Because remember Cubes used to do the same shit?
Yeah.
And I think when they put him out, it was basically like, oh shit, we forgot to fix that Cubes problem because he has the same exact problem. And then they realized, like they knew they were going to fix it at some point because that overload ability just is unfortunate for him. I don't think it makes him any more playable, though. I don't like him.
Agent Venom Project Rebirth 2.0 was reworded to now cause a shake action rather than just remove a condition. I'm not actually familiar with Project Rebirth.
It's
So
the same
instead
as Blade. It's just Blade had it say that you took the shake action, and Project Rebirth on Agent Venom, it didn't say you were taking the shake action. They uniformed it to say the same thing. It's just you're taking the shake action.
It allows other characters also to stop it. So there are other characters that stop shake actions. So now he can't just bypass those kinds of things, like Crystal and Scarlet Witch can stop you from making shake actions for certain abilities, like certain conditions, I think.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that seems to be like the only example of like why it changed. It also could be like future proofing for the same exact reason that maybe somebody else will get that ability where they're like, hey, you can't take the shake action when you're within X of, leech or something like that.
I wonder if they'd ever cross over like doing like an extract where if you were like carrying the extract you couldn't shake.
I can see that.
For some of these changes, I really wonder why they had to wait on them. They could just release shit like that when they realize it's a thing. Just be like, oh, here's a Friday release. We corrected the wording on this. Why make this a big ordeal about May updates coming? And then half of them are just wording changes.
I laughed. I put this in like video game terms where it's like you have hot fixes and then you have patches, and they made this out to look like it was a big old patch and it ended up being just a bunch of shitty hot fixes.
Yeah, I
together.
think that's what everybody was expecting was
an actual character update rather than
yes. I expected maybe not many of them to be this way, but I expected more of like what Gambit got. I expected it to be at least a couple people being shown as quote unquote new characters.
So you wanted full reworked characters.
Yes, I wanted full reworked characters because there are some people that need it.
Let's keep going and we'll give our overview at the end. So we got Carnage now. Carnage's health increased from 7 to 8 on the healthy side. Paint the Town Red superpower also got reworded, and it's the same as the Frenzy and stuff. They just changed the timing. And also, the extra attack from Paint the Town Red now adds 2 dice, making it out to a 7-die attack.
Yep,
So
goes
I
from
don't know if
5
for
to
that.
7.
Nope.
This is the stupidest change. This is a waste of a change. Carnage's problem was not he needed 1 more health. Adding 2 dice to your extra attack from Paint the Town Red is not going to fix Carnage.
What do you think Carnage's issue was?
Energy.
His defenses being 1 is so bad. Like, that is debilitating to him.
I get the theming behind symbiotes being weaker to energy, but a
Right,
1?
but like Venom's is 2. I think all of them are 2, and he's the only one that's 1. And I don't get it. It doesn't work. It clearly doesn't work because all the other characters that have those kinds of things where they have like a high 1 defense and poopy other defenses, they have some way of manipulating the defenses. But there's nothing here. There's just literally, if you attack him with an energy attack, he gets 1 die, period. That's it. The only thing he has is the crit thing.
Yeah, it's
And I think, isn't that only when he's attacking? Or is it all the time?
When he's attacking, the defender doesn't get to.
Yeah, so it's not even like when you're attacking him, you don't get crits to explode and stuff like that, which I think if it was, both ways, that would be a help.
I don't know.
I could see if you're attacking him, he's got tendrils going everywhere. He's just a big old wiggly monster.
Yeah, and I get it.
could
I
see
mean,
that.
he gets all of his health back when he dazes somebody if he spends the power for it. But yeah, like, granted, the people we play with, including myself and Gary, being the dice crazy whores that we are, you're likely to get dazed pretty easily with 1 defense.
Yeah, but his
So-
problem is that he has that 1 defense, and it's I took some damage, I'll probably just heal or whatever. I think even if you just ignore him, he doesn't do a lot. His attacks are not overly impressive. It's only 5 dice on his builder.
Yeah.
It doesn't do a whole lot. There's not a lot of extras to it or anything. I
mean,
think he's disappointing.
It's the same as all the other symbiotes, right? It's the same kind of tendrils attack.
Nope. His builder? I'm not sure
Yeah.
if his builder is.
Yeah, it's range 3, right? It gives bleed. I think I know Venom and Gwenom both, I think, have the same thing, where it's a builder plus bleed. But yeah, I don't know. Like, you're not going to put him out there, right? You're not going to, he's not going to be someone you want in the middle until you have enough people around to do the area 2 attack. Because if you just go for 1 person and say you activate him early in your turn, he's probably going to fucking daze.
I also think that, like, you compare him to the other symbiotes have symbiotic instincts where you can't modify your dice against him. I think that's better than what he has. So you can't explode your crits. It's not that they don't count. You just can't explode the crits.
Yeah. So he has Hex.
Well, that's what I mean.
Automatic
So he has
Hex.
Hex all the time. So, like, if you were to give a character Hex, it does nothing for him. Versus if he had symbiotic instincts and you couldn't re-roll against him, that's way better. That's why Agent Venom is in a lot of rosters to go against Web Warriors. Because they can't re-roll against him. I get that you're making it different because you're calling it something different because he's a serial killer, but it seems worse.
No, he's still unfortunate. Now, granted, I think there's been 1 or 2 people out there that have said he does well, but I've never seen him on the board. And I've never seen him used effectively. So, maybe we're missing something.
Well, then us and everybody in the community is missing something because he's not on the board.
All right. Yeah, we'll move on to Toad. So another 2 that was unfortunate. His health went from 5-3 to 4-4, so a little more balance there. His builder Tongue Lash lost its push, and now it gives out poison instead on a wild. And yeah, I don't know.
I'm okay with this one.
it's a significant nerf, but it is totally justified and it's totally fine because it never made
Right.
sense that he had a push anyways.
Correct. And I think
Yeah.
him handing out poison is kind of like, I always thought it was weird. Like, I get that the acid spit would burn through your armor, but I always thought it was odd that he didn't give out poison.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think the push was too much on him. It should go away. The 5 health on the front side is very annoying on top of slippery. So he didn't lose any health. It just balanced out the health. He is very good. I also think giving him the poison condition, though, stacks well with Lady Mastermind. So now Toad is handing out 2 different conditions.
Yeah, and I don't think it really
Yeah.
does anything to stop what he was good at.
He's still going to grab stuff, run away, and slippery. The push was like icing on the cake, where it was very good. If you could get it off, then run away kind of thing. It was good. The push was very good. And 5 health is hard to, like, you want to spike and get through it on that 2 cost. So it's pretty rough on that flip side. So I'm not mad about this change. I don't think this change is that bad. I think this is more in line with what I was kind of hoping for or expecting, I guess, is more changes that were like, I don't know how to describe it, but I like this change.
So now we'll move into Nightcrawler. So timing for teleporting strike updated to after the attack is resolved. Plus the stun condition only applies if damage was dealt. Puff of Smoke updated to after the attack resolves. Invisible in Shadow now grants stealth.
Yeah, previously it just didn't say stealth. So anytime a character could ignore stealth, it didn't ignore that one.
Okay.
But I don't know who can ignore stealth anymore.
New Spider-Man, $29.99.
Daredevil.
Daredevil ignores stealth?
Yeah, with his baton.
Okay, that's
Throw.
good. I remember he ignored like line of sight and cover, but I couldn't remember if he ignored stealth. That's good then. That makes sense. Who cares? I don't care. This is a silly update.
I mean, we
Nightcrawler
saw
doesn't-
Nightcrawler everywhere in the meta, so this is a pretty significant update.
Nightcrawler is the most overrated character I've ever seen come out, I think.
But I can do like 20 attacks. I can one-shot Hulk.
That was you.
I can 20 attack. No, that was Sean. That wasn't me.
Oh, you played him.
No, I didn't.
You put him in your Midnight Suns to teleport all your guys forward.
Yeah, to see how he would do with the bump. But like saying that he's gonna one-shot a Hulk, I'm pretty sure that was Sean.
I would put my money on that was you or Matt. It's one of you two.
Someone's being pretty quiet over there, not defending himself. That's what I'm saying.
I've played him all of one time ever.
Yeah, I don't think this matters. I mean, this is another silly update. I guess the stealth thing makes sense. It's just like changing Agent Venom's thing to say it's a shake action just so it lines up with other things and it future proofs things.
Hot fixes. That's all these are.
There's other characters that have stealth that isn't stealth. And I'm trying to think of who those characters are. I know like
there's characters-
Shadow Organization gives it to you and it's not stealth.
Yeah, I know there's characters that always have stealth, like Rocket.
No, he doesn't. He always has cover.
They're covered. You're right. Never mind.
But I'm pretty sure there is somebody else out there that
Had pseudo stealth.
yeah, pseudo stealth. But I just can't remember who it is.
Hmm.
All right, on to the next one.
All right. Well, before I go into the last 4, who I think are probably, the biggest changes of the grouping, just want to talk about a quick change that I made in my everyday routine. So normally I'm an energy drink guy. I don't like waking up early, especially for when I'm going to tournaments and stuff like that. I always take my energy drinks with me. Usually it's that familiar white can, but lately I've switched it up to Dubby Energy. I'm actually really impressed. Their new solo leveling theme flavors are fantastic. I grabbed the Igris Strike. It's like a blue tropical plunge flavor. It's really legit. I like it a lot. It's easy to mix up, easy to take with you. If you want to try it, go ahead and hit the link in our show notes. Use our code. It's Tag Energy. That's TAGNERGY. At checkout, get your 10% off of whatever your order is. So thanks for that. And we will move into Magic. So Magic's health went from 5 to 6 on the healthy side. The ranged attack, Bolts of Ulthor, whatever that word is, can inflict Hex on a wild and a crit on 4 dice. She's now immune to Incinerate. Name changed on Sorcerer Supreme of Limbo to Scrying Mirrors of Limbo. Hopefully, the health going up from 5 to 6 makes her a little less of a glass cannon. And it's really nice that she's immune to Incinerate now.
Yeah, this
I
is
think
not great.
Yeah, these are silly changes as well. Getting Hex on 4 dice, you have to get a crit and a wild on 4 dice to get the Hex. Like,
Easy.
that sucks. Being immune to Incinerate is great. The health, who cares? She's still going to be like a glass cannon no matter what. I think with the changing of Sorcerer Supreme of Limbo to Scryer Mirrors of Limbo is there's a new magic on the way. And that magic is going to have the Sorcerer Supreme title, which means she'll probably be a beefier version, like a 5 or a 4. And she'll be a better leader for New Mutants.
Yeah, I was about to say, so the leadership card is it tied to magic or is it tied to her name?
It's that's a good question. We'll look it up right now just to double check. But I would assume it's tied to her name.
I would hope.
Yeah, I would hope so, because I think that would be the plan. Is it's tied to her name.
It is.
Yep. So she doesn't. It can be Magic Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah,
But as long
so
as
I
it's
mean,
Ileana Rasputin, she can still be the leader.
but we didn't see that previewed at Adepticon, so it wouldn't be
No, I
on the
just- I
roadmap
just
for the
think
next
it's-
year.
Great. I think it's on the way, and that's what that change is that the change will be the new magic will be Sorcerer Supreme magic, and you will get a better New Mutants leader out of that, basically. I think you'll keep the card, and she'll just be a beefier version, because this version is, like, the glass cannon is horrible to be your leader.
I don't even think she's enough of a cannon to really count as a glass cannon.
She hits really hard.
Yeah.
That
I've
spender
definitely
can
had
be
her,
pretty bad.
Yeah, she reminds me of like Gambit a lot, where both of them, they would like, you kind of daze, but when they come back, it's like, all right, here's my chance to make up my 3 points. And they can pace like way above their level. But I don't think this fixes her.
Like, if you're looking at other threes, do you think she's squishy for a 3? I think she's just on kind of par with most of them, right? She's a 3/3/4. Giving her 6 health now is nice. But
I still think she goes down super easy. She has no defensive tech.
do you think because people were constantly targeting it, like she was a big focus because of how much damage she could do? Do you think that's why we see her as being squishy or a glass cannon, because people just try to get her off the board as quick as they could?
Because it's easy. It's
But,
easy
like-
to take her off the board.
It
She
is.
has no defensive tech.
Yeah. I think a lot of the more popular threes do have a lot of defensive shenanigans.
Yeah, like I mean, you're in love with Karnak right now. He has martial artists. He counts blanks. You
Yes,
look at
but
Zemo.
I
He has
think he's the-
rerolls and he has a innate.
We're talking
reroll.
about like the top of the threes, like the overtuned threes. Like, if we're just talking about like the middle of the road threes,
Spectacular Spider-Man has rerolls.
that goes with Web Warriors, though, right? That's like the whole like theme of them.
All right,
is the
fine.
Rerolls.
Fine. Star-Lord has rerolls.
Right. Star-Lord has plucky attitude.
A leader. Yeah,
My
you're-
God,
yeah,
we're not gonna.
she's a leader. Magic is a leader here.
prior to being a leader. So Star-Lord has always been a leader. He's always been tuned because of being a leader. She got a card to make her a leader. That's why they gave her the 1 extra health here, it seems, to make her a little bit more survivable being a leader. But if you weren't taking her for New Mutants, she seems like a very average 3. She doesn't seem squishy to me. She just seems average. I think people think she's squishy because people just focus fire her if she's on the board.
But you don't have to focus fire. You only have to hit her like once because she's there in your face. You smack her and she goes down. It's not nobody's like, man, I really got to hunt down magic and kill her. No, she's right there, and I'm gonna paste her real easy. She only has 3 defense dice. She's getting no rerolls, no boosts, no nothing.
And she's usually so far out away from the rest of her team, she has no
Right.
backup.
So hence why she's a glass cannon.
Yeah, because she really, like, her shining is like going up a flank and then coming in to whale someone. But she'll hit hard and then she's just going to die.
Her spender's great. And I took her in X-Men just basically to have those mystic attacks. Because there was a lot at the time, like Juggernaut was all over the place. And you needed that energy and that mystic to take out Juggernaut. And once she had a little bit of energy, you got the helmet off. Once the helmet was off, man, she could murder a Juggernaut, which is great because, he's 5 points, she's 3. But at the same time, she's asking for it pretty easy just being out and about. I don't think she's a bad 3, but she is a glass cannon 3.
Which is not exactly what you want with your leader.
Correct. You do not want that with your leader. If she wasn't your leader and you just had her in X-Men, I think she's fine.
I feel like they could have fixed New Mutants a lot by just making it more like Convocation, where several people can be your leader. Take your pick.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You don't like Wong being the leader in the back hiding?
No, I don't like that. I think that's stupid. And that's
What do you mean
that's the
hiding? He's
prime,
up front. He's
that's
killing
the prime
everything.
example of why that is a stupid idea. Is because you just are like, here you go, we're just going to put it on this character, it's going to sit in the back and do nothing the whole time.
Or you put
It
it on
should
somebody
have to be.
mad
I'm
all-
okay with it being multiple characters. It just needs to be actual leaders. Like if they were to do Magic and somebody else, like I don't really know who we'll
I
just say
mean,
Sunspot.
You got Cable in that affiliation. I know that.
Yeah, but he was never like a leader of the New Mutants. Like putting him in New Mutants, I feel like is a stretch to begin with. His first appearance is a New Mutants comic book, but I don't really ever feel like he was really part of the team kind of thing.
All right, well, make Emma a dual leader then.
I'm fine with that. You could have put Emma on that card, and I would have been fine with that.
I think New Mutants is just suffering from they're not complete yet.
Well, they're going to be suffering for a year because they're getting one character.
All right.
And that character is not coming with a leadership. Or a Demon Bear. I was really hoping, man, she better have a card called Demon Bear. I don't know what the fuck it's going to do. But like that's got to be her spender is the Demon Bear.
And it's a alternate card for Ursa.
Well, you know what I almost wish? I almost wish she came with like I wish she played like a druid in like any fantasy where she kind of has that animal companion.
Okay.
And almost like a grunt in a way. Is probably how it would work. But the
except
grunt
for
would
the
be
grunt would be stronger than her.
Yes, she would be very squishy, but her grunt would be the Demon Bear would be really tough.
That would be interesting.
I think that would have been the coolest thing to do.
Like a backwards
And if the
grunt.
Demon Bear like gets outside of a certain range of her, it goes like bananas.
Starts attacking its own characters.
Yeah, it could charge the closest character.
Yeah, I like it. I can totally see that.
Yeah, I think that would have been a really neat
Or
thing.
your opponent gets to move it because
Right. Oh yeah, that's a good one. There's so many like good things you could have done with her and that Demon Bear. I mean, granted, we don't know what she does. She could do something cool on a card or on her, a tactics card or something. But I really would have liked to have a Demon Bear model.
You want to say who you're talking about? Because
Danny Moonstar, I think is her name. Moonbeam or Moonstar. It's one of those.
I think it's Moonstar
names. That's what I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But she's coming out with the Jubilee pack in like, a year or whatever the timeline is. It's a long time away.
A year and a half,
I mean,
they'll just keep pushing
we
it.
saw Nimrod previewed. We've seen these models in person at Adepticon, and we'll see them in stores in August. So who knows?
Who's in August?
The Brotherhood characters we
okay,
saw.
I
I'm sorry.
misunderstood you.
Yeah. So my point is, we've seen the Brotherhood models in person. Technically, we saw Nimrod and all the other ones too, but like, we're not seeing those until August, and they were way ahead on that timetable over everything else.
It's gonna be a while till we get Danny and Jubilee and Havoc and Multiple Man.
You left off Kane. That's the one I want. I know you're excited about Multiple Man though.
Oh, Multiple Man and Havoc were my big ones I was excited about. Kane I'm excited about. I knew he was on my list of like, he's gonna be really cool. I hope they do a lot with him too, so.
They had to move everybody back so they can fit the Fantastic Four in.
Yeah, we're never getting the Fantastic Four. It's just be a running joke forever. It's like the plastic Thunderhawk from fucking Warhammer.
What? We didn't get that?
Let's reset the clock on it again.
No, they're gonna end like the game franchise and be like, by the way, before we leave, here's some Fantastic Four models. We're not releasing them, but we just wanted to show them off to you.
I'm just super curious as what Mr. Fantastic is gonna look like. Like he better be all stretched out and gangly.
What
you want him to look like Miss Marvel in big form?
Well, so like there's another company that makes a Miss Marvel that I really like. I don't mind the Miss Marvel model, it's fine, but I would like him to be stretched out, like, you know, his like chest and everything's really thin usually when he does that.
Yeah.
So I would like it to be more like that. But yes, I would like him to be very stretched. I don't want him just to be like, "Hey, I'm normal, but I have a big hand." Like that would suck.
See, here's my theory. Fantastic Four and Doom are done. They're made, they're on a shelf. The minute the game starts declining and interest starts dropping, bam, Fantastic Four release.
Yeah, but I feel like you could do that with like a lot of stuff. But you're probably right where it's, you know, you got to save a major team for a back pocket. But then I almost feel like you bring more people in with those niche characters that you kind of want to see. Where it's like, you know, X-Men and Brotherhood are going to be in the game. You know, Fantastic Four is going to be in the game at some point. But then like you bust out some random character, you're like, oh, shit, I love that character, but you don't really think about it.
Yeah, but that's not what gets people into the game. That's what keeps people that are already into the game, right?
I
Like when you
guess.
first get into the game, you just want to play the big names that everyone knows.
Well, I mean, I got into the game because of Ghost Rider.
I mean, that was a good model.
Right. I don't know if you count that as like, I don't think he's a niche character, but I also don't know if he's like a big character either.
I don't know. Nicolas Cage played him. It's pretty big.
Those movies were bad, but the special effects in that movie are so good.
The first one was definitely better than the second one. The second one
Yeah, the
was
second
really
movie
rough.
is really bad. The first movie, like everything that has to do with Nicolas Cage, and every time the Ghost Rider's on screen, I'm like, this is fucking amazing looking. But then they just had the worst bad guys ever, and that ruined the movie.
Happens to a lot of them, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it
I don't
seems.
know why we can't write villains. It makes no sense. Just like it's so easy. Villains are so easy.
That's why they always do the person fighting themselves. They're like,
I
oh, I can
fucking
only write the
hate that
hero, and I'll
shit.
just write another hero and make him evil.
Marvel's formula for fucking everything these days.
Some would say that they are experts at making colossal fuck ups.
Yeah. Well, that was a Fox one. Ghost Rider was Fox.
Speaking of Colossal, next character we have is Colossus. So Colossus's strike lost concussive force, gained a push size 4 on a wild. X slam lose stagger, gained throw size 4 small on a wild. And Big Brother changed the range to 4 instead of 2, and it now allows an advance towards the effect when the character is not within 2.
I love these changes.
I miss the stagger, but I love everything else on it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the range 4 on Big Brother is going to like drastically change how he's played. And
That is the part that I'm like, I mean, changing it to 4 to give him that, so you're paying 2 to get an advanced short if you're not already within 2. That's cool. I think though, like the strike losing concussive force, fucking awesome. Thank God.
Yeah.
What a stupid trigger concussive force is for a punch.
And it's a size 4 push.
Yeah, like that's great
That's
for
great.
Colossus. X slam losing stagger. Yeah, I mean, whatever. But he's gaining a size 4 throw, which is what he should be doing. The fact that his terrain throw didn't up to a 4, but he can push and throw
And
size
throw
4 with
size
other
4.
stuff. Yeah.
It's a little
Whatever, you know, it's fine. But I want that strong guy Colossus. I want the one that's able to push those big characters, fight those big characters. And like the concussive force, dude, who gives a shit? What a dumb trigger that is. That's a bad trigger.
Yeah.
Just take it off of everyone. Like it's on Cyclops too. Get rid of it. It's a bad trigger.
no, I definitely like the changes they made on him though.
Yeah, I think he's each time they're doing him, like they're getting a little bit closer and a little bit closer. I definitely think he's playable now, like a lot more. He was already really good in Apocalypse.
This is making him straight better.
Oh yeah, now for 2 power, I get a short move to put my fucking Pestilence character even closer. Yeah, this is the big
And also put him
big
in
upgrade.
range of a possible bodyguard next.
Yeah, so with Big Brother, do you guys see that becoming like how it reads and what it does? Do you see that becoming the norm for all of the characters that had the taunt style ability, where if you're not within a certain range, you can move towards the character, so that way you can try to be effective with it?
No, I think that's why we're calling this like Big Brother, because this is just like a Colossus special.
And I'm totally fine with that because a lot of the characters that have taunt already have enough stuff going on. Gorgon doesn't need more shit.
Yeah, definitely doesn't.
Yeah, I see Colossus running over to save you, whereas like I see like Black Dwarf not giving a
Right. Colossus is the closest thing to a Boy Scout, like other than Captain America. But I love these changes for him. I think it definitely will allow him. I think he's always been a great looking model. He's a great character that everybody seems to really like, and he just has never been solid on the board in any of most affiliations outside of like he made a little bit of a play season Apocalypse right now. And then you add this in, and I think this just makes him even better. And I'll probably put him in, like, I'm going to paint him up to put him in the new Brotherhood and see how that goes too.
Yeah, Brotherhood, I mean, two of their glow ups, I think, are Colossus and Gambit.
Right. They're both Brotherhood characters, and you're getting those 3 new ones.
So you threw me. You like the Captain Planet pose that Colossus has?
Yeah, where he's holding up the Sentinel arm like he ripped it off.
Okay.
I think it looks cool.
I usually agree with you on every good sculpt. I do not like that sculpt.
I like the sculpt. My disappointment with the sculpt is I think the Sentinel arm is too small.
Well, that's definitely true.
Yes, that's my only complaint about all that Sentinel stuff on the bases. I feel like all of the things are proportioned really poorly, but I really like his like, fist up in the air kind of thing. Like he had just ripped it off and was like, yeah, fuck you, Sentinels. Yeah, I like him.
I wish they sculpted him like with his arms in the air, like the arcade game when he does his ult.
Would he be in like Black Bolt 1 pose? Where he looks like he's taking a shit?
I never actually looked at Black Bolt 1 like
No, Black Bolt 1 looks like he's taking a shit. Like he
like
looks
a really tough one that he's really working on.
Well, have you ever seen that it's like it was a Vine or some shit where it's that little kid and he's standing there and the guy's talking to him and all of a sudden he goes, yeah, and he goes, what are you doing? Are you taking a shit? Yeah. And it's like the exact same pose.
I haven't put together my Black Bolt, and I think I might have inspiration now.
Yeah, it's rough. But his second one's really cool, so.
All right.
Black Bolt was early, so some of those early poses are just rough. Like Sabretooth's ballerina pose is rough.
Yeah,
Hulk's pose is rough.
Hulk just looks like a sumo wrestler.
Yeah, I hate Hulk's boring ass pose. But I like Colossus's. I think he looks really cool. I like a lot of the X-Men. I think they all have pretty good poses. Rogue's face is busted as shit, but
wait, they sculpted a face?
Yeah, that's her downside, but I think her pose is great.
All right, on to Clea. Name updated to Clea Strange. That's an important part. Spender lost the need for a shield to cause a stagger. Descendant.
Yeah, it used to have 4 triggers. Now it only has 3.
Still only 6 dice. You need every single success type.
Yeah, well, that was like one of their points. Like, it makes it easier to get the stagger off. And I'm like, okay.
I don't know that you're staggered if I hit all 3 triggers here.
All right.
You might just be dead.
Descendant of Faltine now causes a straight 2 damage if a skull is rolled, rather than per skull. Vapors of Dormammu place changed from range 3 to 4.
Yeah, it's a place. It's like a scalpel, but it's changes. Now you can place somebody within range 3. What was within 3, now it's longer. It's 4.
Gained Talons of Farala. Superpower when this character or another allied character within 4 of this character makes an attack. During the create attack dice pull step, this character may use the superpower. The attacker adds 2 dice to its attack roll. If that attack deals damage and the defender has a cost of 5 or more, after the attack is resolved, the defender gains Judgment special condition. This superpower can be used only once per turn.
It's a very specific superpower.
It is
like a kaiju fight.
I mean, you always get 2, and then you get Judgment if it's a higher threat model.
If you deal damage and if it's a higher threat model.
Right. You also have to do damage in the attack.
Right. I think it's weirdly specific.
No, so with going over who the next person's going to be, they made it to match Doctor Strange with how Doctor Strange's leadership is now worded. It's because they're husband and wife. It's mainly there just to be a little play on words for them being married. It was supposed to be like a partner thing.
So they only like big things? Is that what you're
Sure.
saying?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
what's weird about that is it doesn't make any sense because she comes in the box with Strange 2, not Strange 1.
Well, it's the multiverse. It's fine.
She's got both of them, you know? She can pick and choose, right? No, it's just it is weird. I'm wondering, like, again, it could be like just a niche thing for the Doctor Strange situation, but I hope this isn't like a future proofing, not future proof, but something they're going to introduce more with new characters where it does this, but if you're this threat level, it also does this.
Well, it's on the 2 of the Brotherhood cards, basically. So I think it's going to
Maybe
start being a
they're testing
thing.
the waters, right? And see how it does. Just like they did the Nemesis system for like 4 characters back in the day.
I love that system. Bring that system back.
They kept it on Carnage's card, which was interesting.
Yeah,
So
because
they're gonna keep it, but
I just want more of it. I want more Nemesis.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think I don't think this helps her any.
Really?
Or Junkrat.
I don't think it does.
I hope
I mean-
everyone plays her.
I have no opinion because I never played her before, and I don't play Wizards, so I don't really know. However, I do think changing the place from range 3 to range 4 is huge.
Well, I think the bigger thing is that you can now do that turn 1 and not have to worry about dazing yourself. That was the thing.
Right.
Like, she
she
could
would
just-
kill herself.
She'd just kill herself. Now it's just like, I'll take maybe 2 damage, and I'll get to place a character too. First turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not a bad ability on a 3. You take the stupid dog for that ability, and she's better than the dog.
Is she better than the dog?
I think she's better than the dog.
I don't know. I guess. Well, I mean, obviously we're gonna have to.
'Cause the dog
play
does-
the
around
dog
with
doesn't
her.
have to take damage to get a
Sure,
place.
but then she also has the secondary, that new ability to give out judgment and +2 dice to any attack roll within 4.
But the dog can throw size 3.
Sure, she can only throw size 2. I'm sorry.
The issue outside of I do an action, I roll the dice, I might take 2 damage. You're gonna have to do that every turn. So unless she's gonna sit in the back and not be within attack range of anyone, sure, she might be able to do it for a couple turns to get the power she
You don't
needs.
have to do it every turn.
You don't have to do it every turn, and she is definitely a support character. You don't need to throw her up in the middle of the board.
No, I'm not saying, but she's not gonna get enough power in her turn outside of doing that ability that potentially could make you take 2 damage.
For turn
So-
1, sure.
Then after that, all she has is the gainer, so she's gonna have to sit there trying to gain the power by doing her basic attack, and that's gonna take a whole nother turn into a whole
that's-
nother round.
That's everyone.
How much power is the talents of Farala?
3.
So you're picking and choosing what ability you're doing each turn. Like, you're not gonna be able to do multiples of these in a turn.
Okay, she's also
That's-
a 3 threat.
Right, but that's everyone. Everyone can't do their whole kit like every turn.
I think she's just going to be starved for power. I don't think she's going. What people are going to want to do with her, I don't think she's going to be able to do within the time frame of needing to do it, and I think she's going to be lackluster.
The dog also comes with last minute save, Sean.
Okay, but
I just want to point out why the dog's better.
Okay, that's a tactics card that you're also now spending for the dog.
True, but it's a very good tactics card.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got your ass kicked about by Inhumans recently. You should know that their tactics cards are really plentiful, and it's hard to find a spot for that one.
That's true. He also did not take the dog.
He did not, because he just took Karnak and Gorgon, because why not?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're definitely very, very good. Yeah, I don't know. I have no opinion of her because I've never seen her on the board before, and I don't know if you see her on the board now. So, like, she's in what? Defenders and Convocation, right?
Yep. Just those two. I mean, Convocation, she'll probably do good because they got that defensive card for the Mystic Defense. Outside of that, I mean, great. She's not going to get splashed. But do you take her in Defenders with the list of Defenders that you already have?
That's the thing, is I think Defenders has too big of a list that might overshadow her.
I don't know. It depends if you want an extra ability to teleport up your Immortal Hulk turn 1.
But couldn't you just put down the portals?
Yeah, and she can put down the no, I guess it's only Wong and Strange that can do that.
That's only Wong and Strange.
That doesn't make
No,
it. That's weird.
her with Strange's leadership. I mean, being able to like take an Immortal Hulk and put Judgment and Hex on it in one attack.
You can't put Hex on Immortal Hulk.
Oh, is he immune?
He's immune to
Yeah,
Hex.
which is fucking stupid.
But you
I
can
don't-
judge him.
You can judge him.
Yeah.
You can also just take Nova or Ronin.
Right.
Scarlet Witch does not exist. Don't worry about her.
I like Ronan. I mean, granted, obviously he's a 4, not a 3, but I like Ronan's being able to just put Judgment out anywhere. I think it's unfortunate that her Judgment can only go on a cost 5 or more.
Yeah, I mean that part's unfortunate. It is nice though, just to have a +2 dice that you can get thrown on
it
there.
definitely is. And but I think like the 3 power seems like a lot, but I guess it's normal.
And she
Normally
also
it's
can
like
get 3 power, just by her power.
Yeah, I don't know how often you want to use it though.
Until it kills.
Right?
Well, the more downside to it is it's an action.
She's the one we'll have to see. Like I said, I don't know because I've never seen her and I don't have any intentions of playing her.
At face value, she is inherently better than she was.
She is better than she was. She is a 3, so she is cheap. I think I would have rather seen Darkstar get an update than Clea.
All right.
And then our last updated character.
Grand finale. Mr. Doctor Strange won himself. So, Gainer Bolt of Bedevilment gained a pierce on a shield. The heal changed from range 2 to range 3. The +2 defense die now applies to dodges as well. The Eye of Agamotto now applies to dodges as well. And his leadership changed to Judgment of Vishanti. Once per turn, after an attack made by an allied character is resolved, if that attack deals damage, or if the target character has a cost of 5 or more, the attacking character may use this leadership ability. If they do, the target character gains the Hex special condition.
This is another one I like. I like all of these changes, except for the heal.
You don't like the
didn't
heal
need to get any
change?
It didn't need to get better. It
No, the
already
heal was
good.
already stupid good, so let's make it range 3. That's a huge difference in range.
It is.
A 2 to a 3 is massive.
I just figured they did that to put it on par with Wong's, because Wong's is range 3.
So
Yeah, but Wong is also like your back character, doesn't have any like real defensive stuff. He's a 2 cost with 4 health.
Yeah.
Fucking Doctor Strange is running around going, I can reroll everything all the time.
That is one other thing we left off, is that his health stamina went up by 1 on the backside.
Yeah, it went from 6 to 7 on his backside.
He definitely got better. His leadership is definitely worse. It's different. We
think it's really good.
We did realize.
I agree that I think it got worse. I think his leadership was better the original way.
Well, yeah, when you're picking the attack option, yes, that's better, but that is also stupid. Like, I just get to pick your worst defense all the time. That was a dumb leadership.
It was a good leadership, but yet no one ever took him, which is
correct, because he was not good.
And now I think he's decent. He still does suffer from action economy. He has no way of moving around the board.
I don't think he really needs to, though.
I mean, we're very scenario focused at this point in the meta, so everyone needs to be able to move. I think you definitely do want to take the portal card with him, which is something I did not do last time I played him.
I mean, when we played, you were handing out Hex like crazy.
Yes, and we did notice that the Hex has a fun little thing for characters that have out of turn damage effects.
Yep. So if you tricks and traps or any of those other kinds of things that do out of activation damage, you can hand out Hex on your opponent's turn.
And that's a lot of fun.
I mean, almost all of my guys were hexed at the end of the game.
Really?
Except for Except for Hawkeye, who was being a little bitch in the back corner.
Well, it didn't matter because then you just pasted him. But yes, besides Hawkeye, I had hexes everywhere because it was all he had to do was deal a damage to me, or if he didn't deal a damage to me and I was cost 5, which I don't.
You had
think I
none.
had any cost
You had
5.
none.
But all you had to do is 1 damage, and he's like, "Well, here, take a damage." And then who was hitting me out of activation?
Electro.
Oh yeah, Electro's martial prowess. He's like, "Here, take another one."
I'm taking another 2.
Yeah, and then you get hexed on top of it. So now if he attacks me a second time, or if I go to attack him a second time, I've lost my crits. The bedevilment gaining the pierce on a shield I like because he gets power from shields. So it just makes shields double better for him. Pierce is really good. Changing the +2 defense to dodges gets rid of his like major weakness of just taking shit to the face.
I'm missing something, and it could just be me being stupid. God knows that happens a lot. So how does he hand out hex from like the other abilities?
It's his
Doesn't it have to
leadership.
be? Doesn't it
The
have to be
leadership.
after an attack?
Yes, it has to be in an attack.
Oh,
So we
that's what
did that
we
wrong.
Yeah, that's the problem. We didn't have the card in front of us. We were just going off of memory. Well, that
Good call.
does.
So we did that part wrong.
Oh, good to know.
So people
I
that have
mean, Electra
clapbacks
was
would
the
be
only
nice.
one I was getting it from.
Correct.
But I mean, it would work with like Thor's clapback or Bucky's because those are attacks.
Thor's is not.
Thor's is just
What?
roll 7 dice.
Oh yeah. That's right. It's a bunch of dice.
Now, Daredevil has one, right?
Yes,
And
Daredevil
he's a
has
and
one.
he's a defender, so
Yep. Well, you don't have to be a defender.
no, I'm just saying, like he's in the affiliation.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like,
All right, so you take Venom, you take Venom, you take
Cosmic, Howling Commandos, Winter Soldier,
oh yeah, got your back. That's a good one.
Got Your Backs, all would get them.
Yeah, I mean, there's options. I mean, and Werewolf's not defenders, is he?
no,
Midnight
he's
Suns.
Midnight Suns.
Because I know Man Thing and who else of the monsters was defenders? Man Thing
Elsa.
and Elsa. Yeah. Oh well, there you go. If you're taking Elsa, you take her card that does the strike
No,
when someone
that
gets
one's
hit.
that one's dice. It's the same thing as Thor's.
I thought it was an attack. Damn.
No, I thought it was an attack too until I just played somebody with it, and when they did it, I thought it was an attack too, and it's not. It's just the dice thing.
You got the defender's card.
The Silver Sable
Cover.
one. Or,
No, there's like a me or something like that where
yeah, I
it's
think it came
you.
with Silver Sable.
Okay, yeah, it was like you spend 4 power, and whoever spent the power has basically like a defense on them where if you attack that person, someone else on the team can attack you.
There you go. What's annoying is that one's Cover Me, and the Elsa one's called
Covering fire. Yeah.
Yeah, those two are annoying. But yeah, I liked him. I think he's good. I think the heal is excessive. The being able to just reroll all your dodge dice now is fucking stupid.
I mean, it's theming.
I understand it because it's using the gem, right? Like you're reversing time back.
Sure. I'm not complaining about it. I mean, I think it's very good, and he has a
But
5 cost.
it's very strong.
Yeah, it's very strong. He's very like hard to take down because he always has power.
Yeah, and he already felt hard to take down. So with these changes, I'm sure it's just that much worse.
And the fact that he also like doesn't have to be in danger zone range to heal people too now.
Not that he ever is in danger zone, really.
Right. I mean, it just depends, like, what you're doing with him. He can sit back now and heal a lot easier because he only has to be near 3 of your character kind of thing.
Or he can just sit in the middle of the field and heal both flanks.
Right.
Well, it is only one. Yeah, it is only once per turn.
Yeah,
For the
I'm just
heal.
saying, like, he can slightly move either direction and be able to reach someone.
Right.
So let me ask all of you then: do you still think Daredevil's leadership is better?
Yes.
And
Yes.
would there ever be a time you would take Doctor Strange for your leader versus taking Daredevil?
I think Daredevil's better. I think Daredevil's better on the board, and I think he's better as a leader. Even if he didn't have a leadership, I think Daredevil's still really good.
I like Daredevil better. I do think Strange is good.
I actually, funny enough, think Strange is now better in Midnight Suns than he is than anything else.
Yep, I could agree with you there.
He's a good. He's good with bump.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering, like, between him and the other Strange, I know they have, I guess, 2 different roles to play.
Yeah, that's what I would
but
think. I think they're doing 2 different roles.
The other
It just
one
depends on what your role
gives you more mobility because he has scalpel,
I think the other one hits harder.
and the other one
Yeah, the other
definitely
one
hits
does.
harder too. He
I
doesn't.
think this one supports Strange.
Yes.
You have aggressive Strange and support Strange.
Well, it just means he goes back into the list, and I'm happy for it.
So overall, pretty down on it.
It's very disappointing. It's a disappointing update all around, I think. Like, I think Colossus's update is good. Hooray. Is it like none of this stuff is meta changing stuff? I don't think.
No, not at all. I mean, but I mean, some of them are good changes, but again, the rest of the stuff, like maybe 3 of these characters were nice, good character changes, but everybody else could have just been done when they thought about it. You could have just released a note.
I wanted a shakeup. And I think that's what everybody was expecting, was some kind of shakeup to change up the meta, to really elevate some of these like crappier affiliations, or to take down some of the stronger affiliations.
Sure, and it doesn't help that their like big first tease was fucking Gambit, and look what we're doing with Gambit. Look at these big changes coming. Ooh,
Yeah, and I think he set the bar really high.
yep.
And it fucked with everybody's head.
Like, oh man,
And
how
we
many other people are gonna be
expected,
this way?
and then I think the same time adding like those new rules, like saying that Peerless was going to be a new thing, really made me think that like, oh, we're going to see like a bunch of changes, even if they're just little.
We did. We did get exactly that. Just little and not a bunch of them.
I mean, but like a lot of like little changes. This isn't really that much.
So, Gary, who won Crossroads quiz on this?
You know, I got to go back and listen to that last episode because I lost the notebook that I had it written down on.
I know I didn't win because I had really high
Yeah,
expectations.
you went up to like 30.
I think I
somebody was
won.
very close.
I think I won with 20.
Oh, no, I think I said 18. So,
Okay, you went
I was
less
gonna
than
say,
me.
I thought somebody was in the teens.
I was definitely in the teens.
High hopes to high failures. Now, they did state in the announcement that this seems like it's going to be a multi-year thing that they're going to be doing. It's going to expand over the next couple years where they are redoing, quote unquote, redoing
Yep.
characters as they
Yeah.
go.
It's going to happen in the affiliation pack.
But the, I guess the plan is for the next several years, we're going to get all these affiliation packs with all these updates. So sure, I don't know. It just seems dumb to me. My hopes for what I was wanting are all gone now. Like it's all crushed. So it just sucks.
Yeah, I do know that apparently they were on one of the other podcasts and stuff. They did talk to someone. They said Sentinels are in testing.
So what are you
they
doing? Are
are
you making
getting
a new
something. They're in
affiliation?
play testing right now to fix their cards. And we know Sinister's in play testing right now to fix his card. But I guess we can just look at like the affiliation packs coming out. Well, you know what I really want to know is how close are these changes to coming out? So if we go to like Asmodee's website and we look at affiliation packs on the way, when can we start seeing those things? Is why it was the big question.
I have no idea.
Right. I'm just trying to see if there's any other pre-orders besides.
No, that's why I was just
Phoenix.
looking, and I don't see anything.
I think the
Which
only
sucks
one they
'cause,
spoiled was the Midnight Suns one, right?
That was recent, right? Like,
Well, so the ones we saw, so there is the Crime Syndicate one. Well, the Midnight Suns one is out with Blade, Voodoo, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider.
So they said in their announcement that the updates for May 2025 was done as a result of the work for the reissued products that are to be expected over the course of the next 12 months. So unless they're holding out, it sounds like to me these are the only things we're getting for the next 12 months. It says as the full reissue process is scheduled to take place over the next couple of years, this means that players will see more consistent, though smaller, rebalance drops than previously done as we continue to complete and compile rebalances for the future products. So, is there other affiliation boxes planned for the next 12 months that we don't know about?
Well, there's the Defenders box, but Doctor Strange is in that box, so I'm assuming that's part of this one. But that's Daredevil, Luke Cage, Wong, and Iron Fist. There's the Crime Syndicate box, which has Bullseye, Kingpin, MODOK 1, and Hood. Those are the most recent shown ones.
I know there's like the X-Men one that's going to have.
Well, there's the X-Men Brotherhood one, and then there's the big Spider-Foe one. Night Suns one's already out. And then I guess whatever they showed in the preview would be the other ones then. Let's see if I can find those.
I remember we had those in our preview episode.
That's
didn't
what
we?
I'm looking at right now. So there's the Spider-Foes, the X-Men Brotherhood one we talked about. There is the X-Force one, which is Cable, Domino, X-23, and Honey Badger, which X-23 is in these updates. There is the Xavier student one, which is Magic, Nightcrawler, Bishop, and Colossus, who were all updated. Web Warriors affiliation pack is Spider-Woman, Black Cat, Amazing Spider-Man, and Agent Venom was updated. The Asgard pack, which is Angela, Hamdul, Executioner, Enchantress, and 2 of those were updated, and those are it.
So this might be all we're getting for the next 12 months.
As far as repackaged characters, yes, I believe so. We'll have new releases with them, like in between.
Well, yes, no, but I mean like updating
He's talking
these
about updates.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these updates coming.
So yeah, I think he's right. That's all we're getting for updated character cards. Wow, that's a fucking unfortunate.
Real disappointment.
We're not gonna give MODOK 1 a glow up. That sucks.
Well, if they release another affiliation box with him in it,
But he's
then
in it
they'll
already.
do it.
He's in the Crime Syndicate one where with Bullseye, and Bullseye got the update.
Well, then
Yeah,
I
if
guess
you're-
they
if
think
you're-
he's balanced enough.
If you're in an affiliation box, then that ship has sailed.
Yep. So if they have not been touched and they were a part of, like, if the people in the boxes were what we've listed, the other characters in those boxes aren't getting touched.
God, that's
So-
sad.
Yeah, that really sucks because the Spider Foes box, Carnage got touched.
Yeah,
But-
he sure did.
All of the other ones are getting nothing.
I really wanted a change to Kingpin's leadership too.
You
I think
bite
it's
your tongue.
fine.
I will not.
It's fine. Magneto needed a fucking change, and so does Sabretooth 1.
Yeah, I mean, unless down the road they, change their minds, they might get enough backlash from the community because I'm sure we're not the only ones that are thinking how disappointing it was, and I'm sure they might have a majority of people kind of backlash at it.
I don't think it's a matter.
And I mean, it's not like the game's not broken. Like,
No, but there are definitely characters that, like, again, and we're gonna have to wait another what? At least, I mean, it's gonna be over a year to have Sin fixed, to have Viper fixed, if they're even gonna get touched.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
you got-
not everybody's gonna be top tier. Like,
They gotta be playable.
No, they don't.
they are.
Not with 200 and
Send it.
something characters.
Yeah, there's too many characters. It's unfortunate somebody's got to be the bottom bitch.
Sin just won an event.
I think we're still playing up that event. How recent was that?
No, I don't know.
And we got
I-
a buttload of characters on the way.
Nah, I think it'll all work out. Like, and I think what it was is when we had less characters, we got those 2 really big character changes that shook up the meta twice, and everybody was expecting that. And I don't think we'll have it again. I think that going forward, the new releases are going to be what defines the meta. And remember, each year we're going to get new Crisis cards. So hopefully that does a bit to change things up.
Yeah, I think what they did with the Adepticon is what pisses me off about this update. Because they gave us Gambit, and we're like, man, if they're going to rework that much with Gambit, that means all these changes are going to be full reworks of the characters. If they did not give me Gambit at Adepticon, I would not be so disappointed by this update. I'd just be like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever, it's bookkeeping. But because they put a level of expectation out of it by showing us what they did with the Gambit, that's what disappoints me out of this whole thing. And Ghost Rider should have never been in this stupid thing. Just release it.
You know, it's like showing the best parts of the movie in the trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's 100% what they did.
And they knew what they were doing too. They were totally like, oh, hey. I mean, he was even printed in foil. Like, they were really glamming him up.
The other thing we noticed too is so at like Adepticon and where were we just at Richmond Open, you got those sweet X-Men foil cards.
3 of them are now out of print.
Yeah, you can
Or-
throw them
yeah.
away because they're totally useless.
Ooh,
That
Collector's
sucked.
items.
I was like, dude,
Collector's items.
I literally just got them at Richmond Open, and it's like, well, they go in the garbage.
I got a foiled Nightcrawler and I got a foiled Bishop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ouch. It's Iceman. Who's the 4th one?
I'm trying to recall. I'm
like that
guessing
cool
one.
foil Doctor Strange.
Please tell me it was X-23 or something, so that way it's just another one
No,
that's
it wasn't
dead.
X-23, but I can't remember who it was. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I know at least 2 cards were completely useless.
Was it Rogue?
No, Shadowcat. It's Shadowcat.
Shadowcat, that was it, yeah.
It lives. It's still okay.
So that's all our stuff.
Yeah,
Nope,
Patreon.
we have our Patreon.
A massive thank you to our very first Patreon subscriber, Otis. You're officially a legend and the first to join the ranks of our supporter elite. Otis, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what topic you would like us to dive into for our podcast, and also which epic battle report you would like to see featured on our YouTube channel. Thanks for helping us bring more awesome content to life.
So we have some upcoming events we're just going to go over really quick. We have July 26th is Crisis Cup Event 3 at Bazooka Games in Westminster, Maryland. This is a singles event, an LVO points qualifying event. I have not checked in the last couple of days. We had 25 people already signed up with 7 spots left. If those spots are filled up, we do have a waiting list. Go ahead and hop on that waiting list. People drop, things happen. Usually we go pretty decently into that waiting list, and I'm very quick about hopping people on there. So make sure you sign up. Outside of that, we will be at Nova Open. I will be teaming up with another Crisis Protocol group to do a lot of their events. We've added a bunch of events this year. We're doing affiliation, timeline, doubles, and have multiple single event heats. So a lot of MCP stuff going on there. Check it out. Sign up. There's plenty of room. Crisis Event 4. Also, Nova Open is Labor Day weekend. I don't know the exact dates, but it's always Labor Day weekend.
August 20-something.
There you go. August 20-something, Labor Day weekend. Crisis Event 4 will be sometime in October at Huzzah Hobbies in Ashburn, Virginia. We just don't have a date yet. We will also be having a last chance qualifier on November 15th. That place is to be determined. I still have to figure that out. December 4th through the 7th, we will be at Shorehammer in Ocean City, Maryland. We will be running singles, doubles, affiliation, and something special. So check those out if you haven't been out. It's a fun little getaway. Getaway in the middle of winter to the ocean. You hang out with a bunch of nerds, play games. It's a pretty chill event. So it's definitely worth something to check out. And I think that's all the events that we have. We haven't added any new events because we are very busy. There's not much room to add events. With that, a Target Acquired podcast is brought to you by Game Chefs, your ultimate destination for all things tabletop. Whether you're looking for a new, exciting board game, assembling your squad in Marvel Crisis Protocol, or building the perfect Warhammer army, Game Chefs has everything you need. Miniatures, dice, rulebooks, and the best community of gamers around. And just for you, our amazing listeners, Game Chefs is offering 15% off your next purchase. Just use the code TAG at gamechefs.org and save on your next adventure. Roll some dice and level up your game at Game Chefs. Link and code can be found in the description. And that concludes this episode of a Target Acquired podcast. See ya!